After 27 years of marriage, Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky are finally having the conversations they've been avoiding for over 2 years. The truth about what really ended their marriage, why they still haven't filed for divorce, and Kyle's breaking point that changed everything. Okay, so here's what you need to understand about Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky's separation. It's been over 2 years since they announced their split in October 2023, and as of February 2026, they're still legally married. But that's about to change. Kyle just revealed on Watch What Happens Live that they finally started having the conversations about what this divorce is going to look like. After years of avoidance, therapy sessions that went nowhere, and a painful family trip to Aspen that opened her eyes completely, Kyle knows exactly what she needs to do. And girl, the tea is piping hot. Let's start from the beginning because this breakup has been slow-motion car crash television for real. Housewives of Beverly Hills fans. Kyle and Mauricio got married in 1996 and built what appeared to be the strongest marriage in all of Bravo. They had 3 daughters together, Alexia, who's 29, Sophia, who's 25, and Portia, who's 17. Mauricio also became a father figure to Kyle's oldest daughter, Farah, from a previous relationship. She's now 36. For over a decade on RHOB, Kyle's identity was completely wrapped up in being Mauricio's wife and the mother of the Umansky girls. The crack started showing in season 13 when Kyle was dealing with her complicated friendship with Morgan Wade. Rumors swirled about the nature of their relationship, and Mauricio basically said on his Netflix show, Buying Beverly Hills, that he had no idea what was going on between them, and he was fine not knowing. By October 2023, Kyle and Mauricio announced their separation after 27 years of marriage. The statement was vague but confirmed they were taking space. In May 2024, Mauricio officially moved out of their shared home in Anino. Kyle admitted on the Bible podcast that it felt weird and very real when he actually packed up and left. That's when the separation stopped being something they were working through privately and became their actual reality. Separate homes, separate lives, but still technically married. Throughout 2024, Mauricio was photographed making out with various women in Aspen and other locations. He openly admitted he was dating and in his era of being single. Kyle, meanwhile, kept her romantic life much more private. She admitted on RHOBH Season 15 that she fell hard for somebody after the separation, but she's never confirmed who that person was. Most fans assume it was Morgan Wade based on their closeness during that time period. By September 2024, when Mauricio appeared on Dancing with the Stars, he gave an interview saying they weren't separated, they weren't divorced, they were still dealing with their marriage. This confused everyone because they'd literally announced a separation a year earlier. What he meant was that legally nothing had changed. They were still married on paper and hadn't filed any divorce paperwork. Then came the holidays. In late December 2024, Kyle and Mauricio spent Christmas and New Year's together with their daughters in Aspen. Sophia Umansky posted a video of her parents sitting on the floor watching a movie and eating popcorn like little kids. It looked adorable and cozy. Then, at Kate Hudson's New Year's Eve party in Aspen, eyewitnesses claimed Kyle and Mauricio were all over each other, arms around each other, touchy and warm, looking like a couple who never split up. That's when the reconciliation rumors exploded. Page 6, US Weekly, and every tabloid ran stories suggesting they were back together. Kyle's sister, Kathy Hilton, even addressed the rumors, saying the family would love if they got back together. But here's where things get messy and real. Those rumors were completely made up. On January 29, 2026, Kyle appeared on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen and shut down the reconciliation rumors completely. "Someone just made that story up," she said flatly. According to Kyle, here's what actually happened at that New Year's Eve party. She was with her daughters most of the night. Mauricio was off doing his thing. When midnight struck, she gave her daughter Farah and Mauricio a group hug. That was it. There was no canoodling, no romantic reunion, nothing. But what Kyle revealed next on the RH After Show was even more telling. Mauricio was definitely very booked up, looking around at the party, meaning he was checking out other women while his wife stood right there. Kyle admitted it was weird and uncomfortable. Seeing him act single in person is very different than reading about it in a tabloid. She explained this is where the Aspen trip became Kyle's breaking point. She told her castmates that when she tries to talk to Mauricio, she feels like he's not paying attention. "I don't feel seen or heard by him. And that doesn't make me feel good," Kyle admitted. She said she actually shuts down when she's around him now because she feels stupid trying to have conversations with someone who clearly isn't listening. Kyle confronted Mauricio about this during the trip. She told him to his face that she doesn't need to have that rubbed in her face, referring to his obvious interest in other women. She explained that when she goes to talk and realizes he's not engaged, she finds herself not wanting to put herself out there because she doesn't want to feel like that anymore. Mauricio apologized. He told her she's amazing and deserves the utmost respect, and that he always tells everybody how amazing she is. But here's the thing about apologies: they don't mean much if the behavior doesn't change. And Kyle left Aspen knowing that nothing was going to change. On the after show, Kyle revealed the moment that crystallized everything. She and Mauricio were supposed to have a big talk about their future. They'd been putting it off for months. But after what happened in Aspen, Kyle realized something. "I think this trip told me everything I need to know. I don't think we really need to have that big talk." That statement right there is Kyle closing the door. For over 2 years, she's left things open with never say never energy. Fans held out hope they'd work it out. But when Andy Cohen asked her directly if she sees a future where they reconcile, Kyle's answer was definitive. "I always said you can't predict the future, but right now I don't feel that at all. I know now what I need to do." So what exactly is Kyle going to do? On that same January 29th, 2026 episode of Watch What Happens Live, she dropped the biggest update yet. "We have had conversations that we had not had during the season since then. We still haven't filed, but we've had conversations about what this is going to look like and all of that." Translation: Kyle and Mauricio are finally discussing the terms of their divorce. After 2.5 years of limbo, they're talking about how to actually end this marriage legally. What this is going to look like refers to all the complicated details: who keeps what property, how they split their assets, what happens with spousal support, how they handle custody of their youngest daughter, Portia, who's still a minor, all of it. The fact that Kyle said these conversations happened after the season filmed means this is breaking news as of early 2026. Our HOBH Season 15 wrapped filming without Kyle and Mauricio having these discussions. But between the finale and the Watch What Happens Live appearance, something shifted. Kyle finally decided it was time to stop avoiding the inevitable. Sources close to the couple told US Weekly in early January 2026 that they are not getting back together or rekindling their romance. They're amicable, but not romantic. The insider added that of course it would be great if they called off their separation, but the family knows it's most likely not going to happen. Another source explained that Kyle and Mauricio have done a good job maintaining normally in front of the girls, especially during the holiday season. That's why they spent Christmas and New Year's together. It wasn't about romance. It was about giving their daughters, especially teenage Portia, a sense of family continuity during the holidays. The girls aren't pushing for a romantic reunion either, according to insiders. They know their parents aren't getting back together at this point. Everyone, including Kyle's castmates, her family, and her children, have accepted that this marriage is over. Now, it's just about making it official. Throughout RH Season 15, Kyle has been incredibly open about what destroyed her marriage. It's not one dramatic event, it's death by 1,000 cuts over many years. During episode 7, Kyle toured the Bear home, where she and Mauricio lived happily before moving to their bigger Inino mansion in 2017. New castmate Amanda Francis had purchased and renovated the house, so Kyle got to walk through rooms filled with memories. The experience was incredibly emotional for Kyle. On the after show, she revealed that her youngest daughter, Portia, wrote a poem after the separation that really hit me really hard. Kyle sent it to Mauricio and it hit him really hard too. "I just said, 'Look what we did. Look what we allowed to happen." Standing in that house where they'd been happy, Kyle couldn't stop asking herself what-if questions. What would have happened if we didn't leave here? Maybe we would be separated if we didn't stay in that house. I don't know. Of course, I think like that because my last memory in that house is us being happy. The real answer to what ended the marriage came out during an emotional confessional. Why did we let life, business, work, whatever, get in the way of us? How did we let this happen? That's it. That's the whole tragedy in one sentence. Life got in the way. Mauricio built the agency into a massive real estate empire. Kyle became one of the most recognizable faces on Real Housewives. They had 4 kids, multiple homes, endless obligations, and somewhere in all of that, they stopped being partners. They stopped communicating. They started living parallel lives instead of a shared life. Kyle has repeatedly said that Mauricio doesn't make her feel seen or heard. That's not about one fight or one incident. That's about years of feeling invisible in your own marriage. It's about trying to talk to someone who's always distracted, always thinking about work, always looking past you at the next thing. Eventually, you stop trying. The Morgan-Wade situation didn't help. Whether Kyle and Morgan were romantic or just very close friends, Mauricio's complete detachment from that dynamic showed how disconnected he'd become. He literally said he had no idea what was going on between them, and he was okay not knowing. What kind of husband says that about his wife's most important friendship? Someone who's already emotionally checked out. While there's no leaked separation agreement, we can make educated guesses about what the divorce settlement will look like based on California community property law. Kyle and Mauricio got married in 1996, and California is a community property state. That means everything acquired during the marriage is split 50-50 unless they have a prenup, which they don't. Mauricio founded the agency in 2011 while they were married. That means Kyle is entitled to half of his stake in the company. The agency went public through a SPA merger, and Mauricio's net worth is estimated at around $100 million. Kyle's net worth from her RHB salary, acting residuals, and business ventures is estimated at around $100 million as well. Combined, they're looking at dividing approximately $200 million in assets. Their primary residence in Enino, where Kyle still lives, is worth an estimated $6 to $8 million. They likely have other real estate investments and properties. Then there's the issue of Kyle's RH salary, which is reportedly around $500,000 to $1 million per season. Since the show started while they were married, Mauricio could theoretically claim half of her earnings from it during their marriage. Spousal support is another question. Given that they both have substantial incomes and net worths, it's unlikely either would pay significant alimony. But the court could order temporary support while the divorce is finalized. The biggest asset is the agency. If Kyle gets half of Mauricio's stake, she'd instantly become a major shareholder in one of the most successful real estate companies in Los Angeles. Whether she'd want to maintain that connection to Mauricio's business or cash out her share is unclear. Then there's custody of Porsche, who's 17. California courts prioritize what's in the best interest of the child, and at 17, Portia's preferences carry significant weight. Since she's almost an adult, custody won't be a major battle, but they'll need to figure out holidays, college decisions, and how to co-parent through her final year of high school. As of February 2026, Kyle and Mauricio are having active conversations about their divorce, but still haven't filed paperwork. This puts them in a weird legal limbo. They're separated, living separately, dating other people, but legally still married. That means any major purchases, debts, or financial decisions could still impact the other person. Kyle dropped her married last name from her Instagram profile, though her bio still reads wife. That small change signals where her head is at. She's preparing to be Kyle Richards again, not Kyle Richards Umansky. The next step is filing. Once either Kyle or Mauricio files a petition for dissolution of marriage in Los Angeles Superior Court, the process officially begins. California has a mandatory 6-month waiting period from the date of filing until the divorce can be finalized, so even if they file tomorrow, they won't be officially divorced until mid-2026 at the earliest. During that 6-month period, they'll negotiate a settlement agreement covering all assets, debts, properties, and custody. If they can agree on terms, they file a marital settlement agreement, and the judge approves it. If they can't agree, they go to trial and let a judge decide. Given their wealth and the complexity of their assets, this could drag on for years. Kyle has said repeatedly that she's no longer afraid of being alone. On the RH After show, she admitted that what scared me the most about being separated at first was being alone. Am I going to be alone one day as I get older? Am I going to be all alone? But she's found peace with whatever happens. I like this feeling that I have right now that I'm no longer afraid of that. There's a security in knowing if that happens, it happens. That's the energy of someone ready to move on. Kyle knows what she needs to do. She's not afraid anymore.